Hey, I'm Brett.
I'm Lavalle.
And this is Wake Up and Get Wealthy. We are in the week after Wealth Week.
Oh my gosh, what an amazing week that was.
It was amazing.
I mean, all of the events were just phenomenal.
Everyone loved them. We had great attendance.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, Dr. Cooper's speech.
That was amazing.
Oh my gosh.
He gave us some great tips on living a healthy life.
He's like,
through lifestyle.
How old is he? Like,
he is 88. He's about to turn 89.
I mean, he's still got so much fire.
Moving and grooving, works out 5 to 6 days a week. One of his big things was, get some sort of movement every day for at least 30 minutes.
Right.
And he really practices what he preaches, and you could tell.
What's crazy is I thought that came from the Surgeon General, and the Surgeon General got it from Dr. Cooper.
Probably.
Like, that is so crazy.
Surgeon General got Cooperized.
Yeah, Cooperized.
Right?
Yeah, it was so amazing.
It was so good.
Yeah, so today we're moving ahead. We're getting ready for the rest of this year.
Yes.
And
past Wealth Week, now we can do anything.
Right. Well, anything?
Anything. We can talk about anything now.
Anything. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about life hacks.
Life hacks. I thought that was a really good idea because last night I was making these grain-free pizza pockets that I love. They're kind of like Hot Pockets, but without all the junk in them. So there's this lady I follow on Instagram, Danielle Walker, and I love all her recipes. So I was making these pizza pockets. I had this whole jar of tomato sauce, and I never go through the whole jar, right? And I didn't want to throw out half a jar of tomato sauce. So what I did, I have this old little silicone thing that I used to use for my kids' baby food.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did is I dropped the tomato sauce in these, and I freeze it.
Okay.
And so once it's frozen, I then pop them out and I put them in a Ziploc bag, and then I can, defrost as much as I need.
Oh, wow.
Right? You don't have to defrost the whole thing. You can defrost a couple of pucks. I do the same thing with bone broth. So I make my own bone broth. What I do is I buy a rotisserie chicken, and I take off all the chicken, because bone broth is like, I think $8 or $9 for one little thing.
Right.
You can buy a rotisserie chicken for $8 or $9, and then I take off all the chicken. I'll make whatever with that, and then save the chicken carcass. I don't like that word, but anyways.
Right.
And then I make my own bone broth with that. And the same thing, I put them in here, I freeze them in pucks, and when I need to make soup or rice or whatever I want to make, I just pop it out, put it in the thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have just a little hack that I do. I found during the flu season. I make this thing called the flu bomb.
Oh, tell us about that.
I mean, so it is, it's fresh ginger, it is fresh garlic, it has cayenne pepper, it has lemon. And you make
this yourself?
I make this myself.
Wow.
And when I tell you that I feel so much better after I've drank this, it's amazing. So I'm new to the whole healthy type of non-medical medicine things. And again, we're not doctors.
We're not doctors. This is just our opinion, right?
These are just some things that we kind of do, right?
So do you drink this every day? Or just if you feel like you're getting sick?
No, if you feel like you're getting sick, on the front side of that, you drink that twice a day, 2 times, and pretty much knocks it out.
Right. I know someone who just got the flu and was out for days. I mean, it was awful. And so I have, for a while, the past couple of years, been doing elderberry syrup. And I know a lot of people who do elderberry syrup or gummies. The thing is that, what I see when people buy them in the store, first of all, it's really expensive, right? Yeah. And second of all, a lot of these products will add cane sugar to them, right? So I like to make my own. I'm not a licensed professional to make these things, but I found a recipe online. I like to make my own. I decide what gets to go in it. I do honey instead of cane sugar.
Gotcha.
And then I actually buy these dried elderberries a couple of months before flu season, right? Because it's cheaper. As it gets closer to flu season, they get a lot more expensive. So I'll buy them. I'll pop them in the freezer. I love the freezer. Yeah. It's the best.
Yeah.
And then I will make my own elderberry syrup with them.
Oh, nice.
So it's really good, and I make some for my friends too. But flu, you don't want to mess around with the flu. It's scary.
No, it really is. It really is. But I mean, so outside of like medical hacks, right? There's also like hacks that you can do to just kind of enhance your life. Like, one of the things for me is my house, right? Every morning I make my bed.
Wow.
And I pretty much straighten up my entire house because I feel like when I get home, right? If your house is organized, your brain tends to be more organized also.
Right. Is that why I don't feel organized ever?
Well, you have a 3-year-old. I live by myself, so it's a little bit different.
It's hard to, I feel like I clean up and then poof, it's just all a chaos again.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
but actually, I did buy him these sheets that I love. This is a life hack, right? They're called Betty's, and it has a zipper on the end, so it's kind of like a sleeping bag, but it's a flat sheet, and it goes over, and then it has a zipper, and so my 3-year-old can make his own bed in the morning.
Oh, wow.
I don't make my own bed, 36, but my 3-year-old makes his own bed, which is awesome.
Yeah,
so that's maybe why he's a lot more organized than I am.
Yeah, his day is probably going way better than yours.
But I have heard that, though, that, if you start your day with one successful thing, and making your bed is a pretty easy, successful thing to do in the morning. I feel a little bit bad about myself right now, not doing that. But if you start your day with one successful thing, then you tend to have success the rest of the day.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So I have read that, actually. A lot of people, leaders in their companies and things like that say they start their day by making their bed.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel great. When I come home and everything is in place and I feel like there's not a lot of things for me to do but just relax and maybe catch up on the news, it's much better than having to try to straighten up and clean up.
Maybe that will be my wellness goal for the week.
Boom.
Make my bed.
All right, we're going to shoot live from your house one day and see.
We're going to get wealthy from Brett's house.
Yeah, what's this, right?
Yeah, this is some good accountability. I like this. So I want to know if anyone else has any life hacks.
Yeah.
So I know there are people listening because a couple of people at Wealth Week said, hey, I've seen you on Wake Up and Get Wealthy, Amy. So if you're watching, maybe write in and tell us some of your life hacks. We'll announce it on here.
Yeah, we'll share them with the rest of the J community.
And as always, we'll, give you one of these mugs if you comment in.
Definitely.
We're still trying to give away some of these mugs.
I mean, these mugs are great and no one's getting them, so.
More for me.
Yeah.
More coffee.
Yeah, there you go.
So, one of my last life hacks that I had while we're waiting for our millions of viewers to write in with their hacks is I tend to be a procrastinator. Do you procrastinate at all?
I do.
Yeah. I procrastinate, hence my non-made bed. So I like to, when I have a project that I need to do, I will set a timer, right? If I need to get a blog written or something like that, I'll set a timer for 30 minutes, 1 hour with no distractions. So during that time frame, I cannot do anything but this project. It tends to give me, a little bit more motivation to get it done. I know I only have this amount of time to get it done. So I think it tricks my brain a little bit to help me get through that project. Yeah. Instead of just saying, well, I have the rest of the day to do it.
Yeah. Right? I mean, one of my life hacks is, when I have something to do, especially here at the J, and I have so many people coming in, I'll close my door. Mm-hmm. I'll cut on some of my favorite music. Mm-hmm. And there I go. I'm done.
Until I interrupt you, because your closed door doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that.
Yeah, but that's a good idea. I like that. So you have music helps you focus.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
I think you got to figure out what helps you get through these things.
Exactly.
These are just some of our tips. They help us.
Yeah. So send us some of yours.
Send us some of yours, please.
Right.
Anyone send us theirs?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
No. Okay.
All right. Well,
as always,
get wealthy, Dallas.